To this now, for the first time, water boards from across South Africa will meet for an important dialogue aimed at finding solutions to the country's water crisis. The event will be held from the 19th to the 12th of November at Emperor's Palace in Johannesburg and is expected to bring together over 1,500 leaders and experts in the water and sanitation sector. Now, Water and Sanitation Minister Pemmy Majodina and Premier Panyaza Lesufi for Gauteng will be among the keynote speakers, with Lesufi's participation especially significant given Gauteng's ongoing water challenges. For more on this now, let's bring in Dr Nndweleni Mphephu, who's the chairperson of the Lepelle Northern Water. Thank you so much for your time, Doc. Thank you so much for chatting to us on the agenda this hour. We just heard from our reporter now, Puselezo, talk to us about some of the challenges that some of these communities face around water in particular. And here's the thing, the country has been facing severe water shortages for years now, with millions of people being affected. In your view, what are the main systematic failures within water boards that have allowed this crisis to persist, and how can they be urgently addressed? Because there's a need for them to be addressed, and for them to be addressed urgently.
Greeting to you and the viewers. The water and sanitation challenge remains, it remains one of our greatest socio-economic and environmental challenges that we face. There are issues like aging infrastructure that we have spoken about. The climate change is also bringing its challenges with climate shocks. We have got a population growth pressure that we need to deal with, vandalism of infrastructure, and all these, including the governance, by the way, which we are dealing with. And all these challenges needs a solution so that vulnerable community could have water and we can be able to provide them with solution. But we also have to talk about the debt that municipalities owes the water board. But not only that, the municipality have to be paid as well so that they can pay the water boards as well as ESCOM. But what does these challenges force us to do is to ensure that, because it threatens our economic growth, we therefore have to need a leadership, innovation, investment, and bold leadership that will ensure that we can solve the water challenges that we have today.
And here's the thing, Doc, given that over about 1,500 leaders and experts are attending this particular dialogue, just what concrete outcomes or commitments should South Africans realistically expect from this event? And how will these translate into measurable improvements in water access just going forward? Because it's one thing for us to have these gatherings, and it's another to actually see action filter to where it matters the most on the ground.
Absolutely. I know that there's been a lot of conferences, dialogue, Water Indaba, for example, but this is a first of its kind, where the utilities themselves, that are the key role players in provision of water, are organizing this water dialogue. And these utilities are water boards, they are catchment agencies, Water Research Commission, TCTA, and we are bringing all the experts to ensure that how do we ensure that we can bring African solution to solve the water challenges that we have. That's why we have even brought in the NGOs, we've brought in community, the young professionals will be involved in this conference, communities, so that we can also ensure that the communities, they've got solutions that they've been using for many years to deal with climate change. How do we ensure that we bring them together? Hence, we came under the theme towards water and sanitation security, or sustainable security. And we believe that with the themes that we have, for example, water security and climate, provision, water quality, ensure that we bring the green drop, blue drop, we address it. These are some of the things that we need to look at. Finance, we know that our fiscus is constrained. How do we ensure that we can finance this water infrastructure? Because that's one of the challenges we have. We have to refurbish old infrastructure, but with the population growth, we need to ensure we build more infrastructure. So we are going to have a post-dialogue action plan aligned to Water Indaba that the president has outlined, and we have those mandates, and we want to ensure that we can implement for the benefit of South Africa.
And still on that, Doc, you know, Gauteng and other provinces continue to buckle under pressure and face serious water supply challenges. And this is despite substantial budgets as well as interventions that we always hear about. Where do you believe the accountability lies now with government departments, water boards, or municipal management, as well as how can accountability really be enforced? Because I get a sense that there's always some sort of, buck shifting. We've seen with the protests that have subsequently spiraled out of control in some communities. Most recently, I think it was in Westbury as well, particularly around water shortages.
What we are doing now, we are saying we must stop shifting the buck among each other. We do know that the department has done a lot to reform the water sector, working with Coxstar, even working with the National Treasury to ensure that we can even get funding. We know that the department has worked hard to even reform the water boards, and the water boards governance it has improved significantly. We do know that we still have a challenge with water service authority or municipality that have got responsibility for water service authority. Hence, there is even an amendment of Water Services Act to ensure that there's a separation of responsibility or accountability between being a water service authority and being a water service provider. What we are doing now and what we are looking at, we have been encouraged to say, let's come together and work together. Where we can assist the municipality, water boards will come in and assist the municipality. And where we need to work together, even with the private sector, we will definitely do that. And that, hence you have seen the relationship between Randwater and Mphephu, where they formed a special purpose vehicle to ensure that we can work together as water board, as municipality who are water service authority, as well as the department and everyone involved. Hence, we have got this dialogue to say, we need to work together. Let's not work on silos. Let's work together. That's when we can bring solutions. So we are ready as a water boards to come in and assist the municipality where it's needed, and where we need to capacitate each other, we will definitely do that. And we are also excited to see that our Honorable Deputy President, who's the chair of National Water Task Force, will be attending this conference and give us a mandate on how do we move forward.
And amongst the many challenges that we face around water supply, Doc, is, climate change that we bring into the mix now,
Absolutely.
as well as droughts that are increasingly impacting water availability in the various communities. Just how prepared are South Africa's water boards? This is to manage the growing environmental pressures that we see at this stage, and what immediate strategies should be implemented to prevent some sort of catastrophic shortages moving forward?
We have seen that in all the water dialogue. We attended the World Water Week in Sweden, Stockholm, and it was about the climate change. How do we address the climate change? So what we need to do is to build a climate resilience infrastructure, and water boards with their balance sheet, because as a water boards, we don't depend on the government to give us money. We have to go out and raise our capital. And we have done well. Randwater has done well. Umgeni Uthukela. Lepelle Water has moved to become a profitable. Mahalis, all the Val Central, all the water boards are now on a reform to improve, to build the water infrastructure. We understand that we've got a challenge. I mean, you look at Limpopo, Northwest, Northern Cape, we have been affected by drought. But if you look at KZN as well as Eastern Cape currently, due to climate change, they have been affected by flooding. But how do we ensure that we build this water and sanitation infrastructure that will ensure that they can have capability to handle these climate shocks? And one of the themes around this conference is about water security and climate resilience. Hence, we will be coming up with this solution. We need investment. And the investment conference that we had in Cape Town will also come handy to ensure that we can assist the water board. And we believe that from the water boards, we should be able to cascade and the positive results impact will be felt within the community.
Certainly hope for that, and I must thank you so much, Doc. Hopefully all of those talks don't just end up to be talk shop, but also just filter to where they matter the most. Thank you so much for your insights and time on the program this hour. That's Dr. Nndweleni Mphephu, who's the chairperson of the Lepelle Northern Water, sharing his insights onto the dialogue. Now, the event is running from the 9th to the 12th of November at the Emperor's Palace in Johannesburg. This will see leaders, experts and decision makers from across South Africa coming together to discuss the country's water crisis. And we hope for the best to come out of that.